Hello friends, we continue to answer your questions. Today's question is, why does God allow evil? This question is asked very often. What do you think about this?
First of all, thank you. This topic has been answered in many different places in the Risal-i-Nur collection. In the 12th letter, it is a subject that has been completely resolved. It has many aspects, many dimensions. Let's talk about a few main points. First, let me say this. In the universe, evils and ugliness are partial and relative. What is fundamental in the universe is beauty, goodness, and what is beneficial, so that goodness can be understood and its degrees can be revealed. An ugliness that leads to the emergence of many beauties is therefore itself a kind of beauty. Everything is known by its opposite, according to the principle. If there were no ugliness or evils, goodness would not be understood. Because its meaning is not understood, many levels of goodness would remain hidden. Therefore, even an ugliness that leads to the emergence of many beauties is, in the end, a beauty because of its result. Let's consider the following sentence from the 12th letter. The creation of evil is not itself evil, but the act of evil is evil. In other words, the creation of evils is not evil. Committing evils is evil. For example, there are many wise reasons for the creation of fire, and all of them are good. If you put your hand into the fire that cooks your food, you turn that servant into your enemy. It becomes evil for you. The creation of evils, wrongdoings, and devils in the universe is not evil, because their outcome is good. Committing them is evil. The creation of devils and evils has led to the emergence of many ranks within humanity and has been a means for the appearance of prophets, the truthful, and the ultimate stations that can be reached in humanity. They have been set upon people so that the endless potentials within humans may develop and their abilities may increase. This is explained in detail. Ultimately, the world is eternal. Since it is a test that grants eternal life, a person needs an environment where they can choose to do good or evil whenever they wish. In an exam, along with one correct answer, there are 4 wrong ones under the question. What is the wisdom behind the presence of those wrong answers?
It is the necessity of the test.
So, are they there so that students will choose the wrong answer?
Of course, they are there so that the students' levels can be revealed, not so that they will choose the wrong answer.
God's mixing of good and evil. The reason for mixing them so much in this world is to reveal the endless degrees of humanity. Another point is this. If we were to ask the person who asked this question, would you rather be free to do whatever you want? Or would you prefer to only make predetermined choices? Of course, everyone would choose free will. Wanting free will and at the same time questioning the existence of evil is inherently contradictory. It should not be forgotten that for goodness to truly be considered good, a will capable of doing evil must choose goodness. Evil exists and you choose goodness. That is what makes it good. Otherwise, what you have done is merely an act. It is the will that comes into play to define it.
In other words, when a person chooses goodness over evil with their own free will, that is true goodness, as far as we understand. If only doing good was an option, then it would not be true goodness, but merely an act. The requirement of the test is that there are always 2 paths before us, to do good or to do evil. When a person chooses goodness and acts upon it with their own will, that is true goodness. If my only option was to choose goodness, then it would not be true goodness. It would just be an act.
That was a very accurate statement. There are many aspects to this issue. It can be addressed in detail. But to give a simple example, let's say I don't believe in doctors. There are many illnesses. Suppose I say our sick people are walking around outside.
So why is that? If we were to ask,
Does the presence of people with decayed teeth outside mean that there are no dentists? Or does it show that people are not following the dentist's recommendations? In fact, in a way, it also proves the existence of the dentist. So the existence of diseases does not mean that there are no doctors. God exists, the Almighty exists. If we follow His commands, goodness will prevail. If we do not follow His commands, then evil will occur.
in that case, what is created as ugliness or evil is not truly ugly or evil. It only appears that way on the surface because it leads to the emergence of many beauties. In reality, in terms of their outcome, they are actually beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
So we need to change our perspective. What seems ugly to us is in terms of its creation and in reality actually beautiful.
Exactly the meaning you intended is fully expressed in the second word. Here as well, let's direct our viewers to the second word. The second word, by fundamentally addressing our perspective on the universe, explains that when we look at the universe through the lens of the Quran, we see the aspect of beauty in everything. However, when we look through the negative lens of philosophy and the ego, these beauties start to become invisible. Many of the lessons given to us by the hadiths teach us that we observe the universe from our own window and through our own lens. When we look at the universe through the lens of the Quran, in fact, everything in the universe is beautiful in itself, which is called husnu bil zat, or it is beautiful in terms of its outcome, which is referred to as husnu bil ghair. This is explained very beautifully at the beginning of the second word and the 18th word. In fact, as you know, to solve an issue, it is necessary to get to its root. In other words, at the root of this question lies the weakness of belief in the hereafter. If there is a hereafter, and there is, as the Holy Quran proves, then these questions lose their meaning.
So, is it that everything gains meaning through its outcomes in the hereafter?
If those who do good and those who suffer evil did not receive their due rewards or punishments, then this question might make sense. But there is a hereafter. Since those who do good will be rewarded and those who do evil will be punished, this question becomes meaningless. Let's think of it this way. We are having a dream. How does that dream lose its meaning when we wake up from it? In other words, waking up from a dream to real life means that the things that happened in the dream lose their meaning.
For example, we are dreaming. In the dream, all sorts of things happen to us, events occur, we feel stressed, we feel overwhelmed. When we wake up, it's all just a dream, and it doesn't matter anymore. That's a very significant point indeed.
Just like this example. Life is asleep. It's kind of like a dream. Because true life is eternal life. When we awaken to it, the suffering we endure in this world becomes meaningless. In return for the hardships we endure, we will be rewarded with great rewards, and those who commit evil will receive their punishment in accordance with God's justice. The pillar of faith in the hereafter comes to our aid in such matters. It fundamentally resolves all issues.
This point is very important, because in Sendocula this is explained in great detail. He says that a person's heart and soul are like a mirror. Our heart and soul are like a mirror. The smoother and cleaner the mirror's glass is, the more beautifully it reflects the image in front of it. But if it is rough, ugly, and dirty, no matter how beautiful the image is, it will appear ugly in the reflection. Our perspective on the universe also changes with our heart and soul. We can perceive an event that is truly beautiful as something ugly. On the surface, everyone views death as ugly, but in reality, death, which we see as separation, is a transition to eternal life, a reunion with all our friends, relatives, and above all, with the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and all our loved ones. That's why it's crucial to view the universe through the Quran. As you just mentioned, the central point is for a person to develop their faith, especially faith in the hereafter, and to view the universe through the lens of the Quran. So, as we understand it, what is essential in the universe are goodness, virtue, and beauty, while ugliness, evil, and wrongdoing are relative. They exist for the sake of comparison. Because things are known through their opposites, that is why they were created. And since they are a means for many beauties to emerge, in reality, they are not ugly or evil either. They are beautiful. You can listen to lessons related to these questions by clicking on our Nur Centrale YouTube channel. Our lesson about the 12th letter is available there. What are the wisdoms behind the creation of devils and evils? You can refer there for such topics.